Okay.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Environmental Services Committee meeting for April 19th, 2024. We'll call the meeting to order. Does anyone have any delegations of pecuniary interests?
None here.
Okay. We'll circulate the prior meeting minutes. I just had a few follow-up questions from the last committee meeting. Jason, have the air filters or purifiers with the filters been installed?
Yeah.
And have you found that making an impact?
Actually, honestly, I'm not as stuffy as I normally am. Could be the weather too, but, yeah, everyone's, was at least happy to see them come in and, speak, so.
Okay.
There's one in my office, one in the staff office, and one down.
Did you buy the ones with the like a display on them or no?
They do have a display on them.
Like a parts per million or whatever?
It does tell you what it's, if it's getting all the details.
Yeah.
There's actually staff that set them up,
Okay.
so.
I only asked
They
because
did say there's a way of seeing what kind of,
you know,
or where the filters are at.
because I just followed from my house and it has like a ring and it goes green, yellow, red based on the air quality, and then it shows how many particles per million or whatever. So it's neat. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to look.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's that detailed or not, but they did say there was a way of looking at it. So,
Right.
they're all up.
I'd be happy to hear at the next committee meeting how it's going with that as well. And then, so Burns, you were going to contact BM Ross regarding like the urgency of proceedings.
Yeah. So we haven't got any more study, but we've gotten some numbers to use for an application for upgrading, and they're recommending that we upgrade the, correct me if I'm misunderstanding this, but they're recommending we just upgrade the line to the plant along Venetian Boulevard. So they've given us, they haven't done the engineering work, but they've just used numbers from other projects. So they're recommending a 600 millimeter pipe, which is 24-inch pipe. From the whole, replacing the whole thing with that. And I think the price per meter they recommend we use is $550 per meter. So we can take all those numbers and put them into our application. So the report isn't finalized, but they're giving us some numbers that we can use in the application to for the housing enabling, whatever that fund is.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Sorry, just there was some questions on the pump station too.
Yeah, that's
So we went, I had staff go out and do some pump downs, and I did calculations, and my calculations on theirs don't quite add up the same. So I've been working with them back and forth to try to make sure that there's, to see where the difference is.
Okay.
I think we might have, like, there's two wells there.
Mhm.
And I think the valve in between the two wells might be not sealing. So they're assuming it seals, and it's not. So therefore their numbers are lower. I think it's actually pumping what it should, but we're gonna look into it some more, because that is an area that there's some confusion with, so.
And in your opinion, would that change the information that?
No, not what Jim had just said, but there is another part of, there could be a potential upgrade to the home station.
Yeah.
So if our numbers are correct,
Mhm.
then we're gonna need that.
Okay.
If their numbers are correct, then potentially, but
Okay.
that's, that was the only other thing that I really got it, but.
Maybe two quick questions.
Mhm.
So is it recommended that we replace the sewer line the entire length of Venetian or just that section?
If the price he gave me was for the whole thing.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
It makes sense if you're gonna.
Yeah, I mean, because we have to tear the road up. He's saying most likely have to. Now, I don't know. I shouldn't say he's telling us we have to. He's assuming we will have to.
Right.
Yeah, the sanitary line from pretty much Exmouth to you know where the new emergency exit gate is. They put that big new gate in a
Yeah.
few years back. Almost of that is all Boulevard,
Mhm.
but there's also a Laws water main in there. there's a lot of infrastructure down there, so that's why you might be looking at a road, but. Definitely from the pump station to the plant is all in the road.
But they're recommending we do toll right from the plant, right to Expo Street to go over here.
They're pricing that.
Pricing that.
They're- Yeah,
So
Would it be bigger? Are we at 6 inches long
it
enough?
would, it would be bigger, there's force, like part of it's force main, so there'd be some changes in size. I think a lot of it's gonna depend on too, is we only, I got preliminary numbers from about, like, they're looking at what they're thinking about possibly developing. If they change that, then anybody, then everything will change with it.
So with Bayview, that's a stormwater management.
Yeah.
Structure. So if somebody hypothetically were to put something at Holmes Foundry that had a lot of pavement, right, and had a lot of stormwater runoff, would it go through Bayview?
It would go through Bayview. That was one of the things that briefly discussed was whether or not they would have to put in like stormwater retention.
Oh, it's
Most bigger developments now would have to, some kind of stormwater retention pond.
on site.
So basically, it would go to that pond, gives you that storage space so you can feed it back into the system.
The only reason I'm asking is whether we should be looking at Bayview upgrade as part of this fund grant application, right? So should we be putting in a couple million?
Yeah, and
Because if they're gonna create a lot of storm water with the amount of pavement that may go there, then it might be.
yeah, and that's, I'm just assuming that they'll have to put in some kind of stormwater retention.
Right.
At that and the other exmo.
Yep.
Development, but that's because they haven't been official yet, we don't know for sure. Most new developments end up in some kind of retention
Yeah.
on it, and it allows for immediate controlled feedback to the system.
My last house I lived at, we had a pond right beside us, and that's exactly what it would fill up and then often would evaporate, but when it did fill up, that's when it left and went to the. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I did ask, like, when he sent the numbers through and recommending upgrading to a 24-inch main. I asked him if that would accommodate the additional 1,900. I think I asked for how that would handle. Well, he already knows about the number of units for the marina land, so that was included in his calculations. And I said, what about an extra 1,900 units at Exmouth Street, Holmes Foundry? And he said that pipe would handle that. So that, a 2-foot pipe should handle everything that could potentially come out of that.
Out of both properties.
Yeah. So then the bottleneck would actually become the plant.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there any ongoing task carried forward from previous meetings? I think it was just the
It was
Ross discussion.
being rushed in the bylaws still, and the meter, eventually we're gonna come up with a written policy on how we're gonna handle meter, change it like larger meter, change outs in the village.
Okay,
And that is there.
okay. I noticed there was no health and safety report for this month. Is that on here?
So there was a mix up between, there's usually a management and a staff rep do the inspections together, and the switch over to mesh, there was some kind of confusion and
Okay.
inspections did not get completed for the month of March.
Okay,
So that's been corrected for April.
okay,
I did do the manager,
Oh, okay, that's not one that's circulated, but
yeah, but there was a manager,
and
one done, just the,
ongoing.
yeah, just on one, added to her.
Great. And then we have the new business is the environmental services monthly report for March 2024. I did not have any questions from what I read, but.
Go through it. So digester project, basically the village is given the approval to MIG to obtain the services of a certified coatings inspector to evaluate the work that's been done in the digester. I spoke to, since I did this, I spoke to MIG. They actually want to be able to come and get in, put scaffolding and stuff, so I was wondering there if we had heard from the contractor. So they're working on getting a quote, and we're just waiting for the quote for that inspector, and then we'll look at going with that. My understanding is the contractor probably doesn't want to start any work until MIG kind of gets that report back and then gives some direction. So it's just kind of a wait and see right now until we get this inspector. The storm sewer catch basin and leads down under Blue Water Bridge on Michigan Ave, they've all been completed. That's just the crossover. It's in here later, but we do want to discuss the other storm sewer lines that need to be done later on. Work management, we have 4 full-time employees in the department. Training, all staff are working to achieve the required hours, maintain their certifications. Myself and staff have scheduled training to complete for our annual training requirements in 2024. And we just continue to follow the health and safety matrix for the village. Certifications, all of our staff are certified to operate under our regulations. And again, I encourage all of the staff to try to set goals and increase their certifications. Treatment plant. Plant maintenance is completed and tracked through the mesh work order system. The plant and all the remote facilities continue to have their routine maintenance and general housekeeping work done on a regular scheduled basis. The admin building is the ongoing health and safety concerns that are listed on the walkthroughs. Manager's office, the roof is still leaking in heavy rains, and as been discussed, we can't really do anything. I keep paying for these temporary fixes, and within months it will start leaking again, so. There's no inspections to report for this period. Wastewater infrastructure, all our remote assets are in good operational condition to the best of our knowledge. We are doing a trial of a new product to try to break down the refill up in our pump stations. We have noticed a positive result at 2 of our stations, and then at another station has been less than what we were hoping for. So we've contacted the supplier, and they're looking at possibly changing up some stuff and trying some other options that they have. So we'll keep you updated on that, but so far the 2 stations, it's really helping out, so. Continue to work on the capital 2024 capital items in the budget. I have been still having discussions with WESUC, and then the MOE still send a response back to us for receiving leachate. But due to the research I've done, the lab results that they've given us, and speaking to other counterparts, I and my staff are recommending that we do not go forward with it. There's too much of a potential to have an upset at the plant. We don't have the ability to feed in the leachate at a slow rate. So if we had storage tanks, so we could control how much went in at what rate, it would be a different situation. But because they want to bring a trailer load and basically dump it in, it's going to actually potentially put us out of compliance. Going to be increased hydro costs to run blowers and possibly chemicals and staff. And then, you know, if we do go out of compliance, or if the plant's operating in a non-optimal situation, we could have more overtime trying to control the situation. So I'm making a recommendation that we do not go forward with receiving the leachate. That's up to the Canadian Council to decide. That is a, you know, potential for revenue, but it's also a potential for compliance issues and additional costs. So, and there is a reason the other municipalities around us have turned it down as well. So
I said, can I touch on that now? So huge revenue, or is it gonna be?
What they've offered right now. With the volume they wanna bring in, with the rate they wanna pay the village, it'd be about $100,000 a year. Obviously, that's completely negotiable. The rate was just what they've been suggesting. We can work back and forth with them. It's just, there is,
No, but from a risk analysis, I don't think it's worth 100,000.
and
To bring that level of uncertainty to our plant, because with what may be happening down the road, last thing we want to do is put that plant out of compliance, or,
exactly.
and also to bringing leachate down under our waterfront, like not through pipes, you know what I mean? Like it'd be out in the open, wouldn't it not, or not in the open, but
Well, there'd be tanker trucks.
Yeah.
I'd say like, I forget the exact, I think it was. Can't remember if there's 2 or 4 loads off the top of my head. There would be trucks, people would notice the trucks coming in and pulling it out of the plant.
mhm,
It is landfill leachate, so it does have a, while they're unloading, you're gonna get a landfill odor
mhm,
at that distinct side to it.
yeah,
Again, I'm saying the value of the revenue just doesn't balance out the potential for cost and other issues.
and as you say, we weren't the first place they came to, so there's a reason why others are passing on it, so we should be cognizant of that as well, so. Should they be making a recommendation, or?
I would, my opinion, it's in the report that he's saying no.
Right.
I would just accept the report. I don't think there
Okay.
needs, I would think if you wanted to change our practice.
Change the recommendation? Yeah,
But
okay,
I don't think there's anything necessary at this point.
If you will agree, which it sounds like you do, then
Yeah.
we should accept the recommendation.
Yeah.
As written.
Yep.
Drinking water infrastructure. All our assets are currently in good operational condition, and all the required work is being completed and tracked in our mesh work order system. St. Clair Street, we've been doing a bunch of work with the engineer and starting to do some work with the contractor to try to get the project started off as smooth as we can. So that'll be starting, we're being told they want to start tomorrow. Be setting up and doing some work, so there's been some emails back and forth. There, I do have some questions which I've submitted to MIG and just waiting for some responses, so.
that's the question there. How involved are you in the water main setup as far as ensuring safe water?
That's one of the main questions I've been trying to get an answer for. So originally in our kickoff meeting, I guess you would call it. It was agreed we would be doing the final sampling to ensure that the water is safe.
Mhm,
My question is, originally we weren't gonna be involved in all the setup and preparing of everything, we'd just be going in for the actual sampling part of it.
mhm,
And I just want to clarify that MIG is going to have one of their field engineers on staff to witness everything going together. Who's going to be reporting all that information, otherwise, if they're not gonna be doing it, then we're gonna have to have a staff member. Spending a significant amount of time while the water getting set up and all this work being done, but the original understanding was MIG's field staff
mhm.
would be overseeing it all and keeping us informed if there's anything. We would just do the regulatory sampling part of it. So I'm just trying to get that all verified before they get too far into it. And they do want to do the tie-in at Front Street on Friday morning. So I've asked that they give me confirmation Thursday at the latest that that's still gonna happen, but just so I can have myself and staff around to operate all the valves, make sure everything's being done.
Do they tie into a fire hydrant or underground?
No, they're gonna tie right into the 8-inch main, right at the edge of the intersection.
Okay.
On Front Street. Inspections, audits, reports, so I've completed all the annual reporting for both the drinking water system. And that, I believe, is forwarded or passed on.
Going to council tonight.
Okay, and it's just for information, and then the 2023 wastewater reporting. It's been completed,
Oh.
submitted to the MOE,
That's the one that's going tonight. The drinking
The water
water went to the last one.
so, and then that will be, they will be posted on the village website for the public to see. Stormwater infrastructure, still continuing to work with Tormont Cap on getting the specs and quotes for replacement of the diesels at the Baby Pump Station. The biggest part right now is we want to make sure that we can pass it with tier 4 final engines. We can, like, they had an installer come with them to do a quote for them. He thinks that we should be able to get away with a lesser tier for emissions because they're basically emergency backup systems. So they're trying to get clarification. They were originally told that they had to have tier 4 final. So we're just kind of waiting for those answers for 4. We go any further. The catch basin repair list, it's just an ongoing list as we find them or the other departments notify us, they see something, we add them to the list, they're getting repaired. The storm sewer pipe on Michigan, that was stated earlier, that's all done. Now there is the storm sewer repair, the actual line on Michigan that needs to be repaired. We had the sinkhole down in front of the new real estate office there. The county's basically told me to go ahead and get the numbers and take care of it and just keep them in the loop. So I did have a couple contractors come and look. It's gonna be a fairly big job. There's also some catch basins further down that should be dealt with as well. And speaking with Lydia, there is the MIG's doing the Michigan work with the bump outs and a bunch of other pavement stuff. So we're thinking about trying to add it into that job, see if she can just put it right into that tender. Instead of having multiple tenders, it'll be included in all the other intersection and asphalt work, so, and then they keep the costing kind of split up, but it's definitely something I thought might be a good idea to try to get it in and have more people bidding on it. It's going to create probably some congestion down in front of the real estate and Albert Fry's down in there. The road, part of the road's gonna have to be dug up. The curves, sidewalks. Possibly, there's probably 2 light posts that are gonna be having to be removed. So, there are some details that are gonna have to work out. But, that's kind of my suggestion is try to roll it in, give an extender.
Makes total sense. Yeah.
With all the other work that's being done on Michigan. And then the contractors that did come and look, they're all thinking it's at least a 2-week, full 2-week job. So
And that'll be able to be done this summer, like, that's the goal.
the goal would be to add it in with which is this summer.
Yeah.
To do the other work on Michigan at the intersection.
How does that get paid for, Jay? Is that all our bill or is it split with the county?
25% will be county.
Okay. So we kind of need to separate out what is the storm repair versus
Yeah.
what is.
And that's when I spoke to MIG to add it into the tender, like the work she's doing, it would be like a separate.
Mhm.
Everything would be kept separate, so we keep the costs. Things, but. And that was, excuse me, that was the recommendation we were gonna make, is try to add more of that other project on Michigan. Vehicles and equipment, all our vehicles and equipment are in good, safe working condition. Health and safety concerns. Basically, the ongoing health and safety issues, which we're working at trying to correct. And then the Federal Bridge Corporation, they're still providing the fencing and that for the underneath the bridge on our property. And they are gonna be starting the work before long as well. They did tell me when we met earlier that they're gonna make sure the village was included in all the meetings, so once they get some meetings, I'm sure we'll be invited. full part of it.
May 29th is the date.
Yeah.
Second span closes.
Security, don't have any security issues. Capital budget, Badgers completed the flushing and CCT work for the condition assessments.
No more Badger trucks in town for a while.
Shouldn't be, well, not, hopefully not for a little bit. There shouldn't be a lot of Badger trucks. If they are, they're probably not working for us.
Yeah.
So I did get a report from them. It's all electronic. And it's a lot, so it's gonna take some time to start going through and trying to find, like, I briefly went through some of it, and they have it color coded and we gotta we'll go through and find where we have the issues. And then we'll have to do some more research as to planning, maybe fix those up over the next little while. So probably be some capital projects coming into play. But we do have it, it's completed now.
And just,
Sorry.
while we're on it, were there any major fines? Was the condition what you sort of expected, given the age of the village?
So
Infrastructure?
far, they've got some minor issues. A major one was Michigan,
Yes.
that stretch on Michigan. There's some catch basin leads and stuff that are CSV pipe that need to be addressed. It's not that they're blocked or anything, but the pipe's in poor condition. So it'll be, use that for planning, start actually planning ahead on, road reconstructions and.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's all gonna deal with making up roads, so. We're gonna have to try to time it with. Road projects and. Forward. Trying to hopefully get some grant money for that.
Mhm.
Then B&M Ross are continuing to work on our capacity study, and they've got some more information from the developers, so they can work with, and we're working with them on that other issue with the pump station. Other than that, the other projects, we got a few of them that are going on right now, and they're going smoothly. I've had no community feedback. We don't have any upcoming events. Close the comments.
Okay, thank you very much. Before we move on, did you have any follow-up questions?
No, I'm all really glad you said this. Thank you.
Okay, so the review of the financial statements ending in March 31st, 2024. I did not have any questions about that. Did you have any follow-up questions?
No.
If there are no more questions, then the next meeting date for the Environmental Services Committee meeting will be held May 14th, 2024 at 1 p.m. We will adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.